Today I would like to invite you to listen to the Dhammapada of the Buddha Shakyamuni, the 96th verse from the Buddhist scriptures on the YouTube channel TN Thai in the USA. Calm is his mind, calm is his speech, calm is his action, who, rightly knowing, is wholly freed, perfectly peaceful, and equipoised. This verse presents a profound vision of the fully awakened practitioner, whose inner serenity manifests in every aspect of life. The calmness described is not superficial or temporary. It is the result of deep understanding, ethical conduct, and the liberation of the mind from all defilements. In the Buddha's teachings, calmness is inseparable from wisdom and freedom, a mind that has been rightly trained and freed from craving, aversion, and ignorance naturally expresses itself through gentle, measured speech and skillful action. Each movement, each word, each thought is guided by awareness and compassion. The practitioner who embodies this verse acts in harmony with the principles of the Dharma. Their calmness is a reflection of insight into impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and non-self, which enables them to remain unshaken by praise, blame, gain, or loss. Life's challenges, whether physical discomfort, emotional turmoil, or social conflict, do not disturb their equanimity. They respond with clarity, discernment, and gentleness, demonstrating the transformative effect of mindfulness and ethical living. The calmness of mind, speech, and action is cultivated gradually through meditation, reflection, and adherence to the Noble Eightfold Path. Through concentration, practitioners develop the ability to observe mental states as they arise and pass, without identification or grasping. By cultivating right speech, they avoid words that cause harm, choosing instead expressions that promote understanding and peace. Through right action, they engage in deeds that are skillful, compassionate, and aligned with the welfare of all beings. The verse also emphasizes the integration of calmness across all aspects of life. It is insufficient for a practitioner to be serene only. During formal meditation or ritual, true calmness permeates thought, speech, and deed. This comprehensive serenity reflects the maturity of practice and the depth of inner liberation. Stories from the Dhammapada commentaries illustrate how this quality manifests in the lives of disciples. Monks and nuns who have attained such equipoise remain unshaken amidst adversity. When faced with anger, insult, or provocation, they maintain composure, observing the situation with clarity and responding with skillful means. Their words are gentle, measured, and true, neither inflating the self nor diminishing others. Their actions are deliberate, grounded in ethical conduct, and guided by compassion. The phrase, rightly knowing, signifies the essential role of wisdom in cultivating calmness, insight into the nature of phenomena, the understanding of impermanence and non-self, enables the practitioner to act with discernment rather than habit, craving, or aversion. This knowledge transforms the mind, releasing it from turbulence and confusion, and allowing true peace and equipoise to arise. In the external world, this inner calm manifests as steady and harmonious behavior. Others are naturally inspired and comforted by the presence of a practitioner whose mind, speech, and actions are calm and free from agitation. The verse teaches that such a person has attained freedom in a comprehensive sense, liberated from the bondage of craving, aversion, and ignorance, and established in perfect peace. This liberation is not merely theoretical, but practical, embodied in every moment of life. Each encounter becomes an opportunity to demonstrate clarity, compassion, and wisdom. The verse also reminds practitioners that calmness is a cumulative result of ethical conduct, meditation, and insight. By observing the mind and its tendencies, cultivating restraint, and practicing mindfulness continuously, one gradually develops the serenity that radiates through thought, speech, and action. Life becomes a reflection of the Dharma, demonstrating that true freedom and peace are inseparable from wisdom, ethical living, and compassion. In this way, the 96th verse serves as a guide for all aspirants, encouraging the cultivation of inner calm, mindful speech, and skillful action. It reminds us that the external manifestations of our conduct are inseparable from our inner state. The peace, clarity, and equipoise of the liberated practitioner are not imposed, but emerge naturally from the ongoing practice of mindfulness, reflection, and ethical living. The verse is both a description of attainment and an encouragement to those still on the path, by rightly knowing, by cultivating insight, and by living in harmony with the principles of the Dharma. One can develop a mind, speech, and life of profound calm, freedom, and peace, embodying the essence of the Buddha's teaching in every moment. The calmness of the liberated mind is not limited to a particular time or place. It extends into every aspect of the practitioner's life. As they move through daily activities, the serene quality of their mind influences their interactions, decisions, and perceptions. When observing the arising of thoughts, they maintain awareness without being entangled, neither resisting nor clinging. This impartial observation allows them to see reality clearly, discerning the impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless nature of all phenomena. Speech, one of the most immediate expressions of the mind, becomes an instrument of peace and clarity. The practitioner speaks with mindfulness, choosing words that convey truth, compassion, and encouragement. They refrain from speech that harms, provokes, or inflames, and their language reflects the calmness cultivated within. Similarly, actions arise naturally from a mind that is settled and lucid. Deeds are performed skillfully, neither impulsively nor negligently, with a keen awareness of their consequences and their alignment with ethical principles. This integration of calmness into thought, speech, and action demonstrates the holistic nature of liberation as described in this verse. The Buddha's teachings emphasize that the mind, when free from craving and aversion, expresses its serenity in all facets of life. It is in this consistent practice that true equipoise develops. Even when confronted with suffering, criticism, or uncertainty, the liberated practitioner does not succumb to agitation or despair. Instead, they maintain composure, observing the situation with clarity and responding appropriately according to wisdom and compassion. The stories related to the 96th verse often illustrate the resilience and patience of such practitioners. For instance, disciples faced with ridicule or hostility in villages or monasteries continue their practice undisturbed, radiating a calm presence that affects others positively. People are naturally drawn to this equanimity, recognizing a quality of profound inner strength and serenity that inspires trust and confidence. The calm mind is a source of insight, allowing the practitioner to perceive the subtleties of phenomena, the causes of suffering, and the pathways to liberation. By cultivating meditation and reflection, they develop the capacity to see clearly the arising and passing of mental states, the interplay of conditions, and the impermanence of all things. This clear awareness forms the foundation for ethical and skillful action, demonstrating that inner calm and outer conduct are inseparable. The verse also highlights the liberating power of rightly knowing. Wisdom is the guiding principle that transforms the mind from turbulence into serenity. Through understanding the Dharma, the practitioner recognizes the futility of attachment, the dangers of aversion, and the impermanent nature of all conditioned phenomena. This insight enables the mind to release habitual patterns of grasping and resistance, cultivating instead a stable, luminous presence that pervades thought, speech, and action. Such calmness is not passive or detached indifference. It is an active engagement with the world grounded in clarity, compassion, and ethical discernment. The practitioner interacts with others, navigates challenges, and participates in daily life from a place of steadiness and awareness. Each moment becomes an opportunity to practice mindfulness, to refine understanding, and to cultivate wisdom. In addition, the verse emphasizes the comprehensive nature of this attainment. Calmness permeates the practitioner's entire being. It is evident in the way they carry themselves, the words they speak, the choices they make, and the attention they bring to each experience. This integration reflects the full embodiment of the Dharma, where inner liberation naturally expresses itself in outer conduct, offering a living example of peace and freedom. Life's external circumstances may continue to change, presenting challenges, losses, or opportunities, but the practitioner's inner tranquility remains a steady foundation. Their mind, speech, and actions are not dictated by external conditions, but arise from a cultivated clarity and wisdom. In observing such individuals, we see the transformative potential of the Buddha's teaching. When the mind is rightly trained, liberation and peace are not theoretical concepts, but living realities manifested in every moment. The calmness described in this verse is both the path and the fruit of practice. It arises from ethical conduct, meditation, and insight, and it naturally results in speech and action that are skillful, compassionate, and harmonious. By embodying this calmness, the practitioner serves as a guide and inspiration to others, demonstrating the possibility of freedom, clarity, and equipoise in human life. The verse thus encourages all who aspire to liberation to cultivate mindfulness, to observe the mind, to act ethically, and to develop insight continuously. By doing so, the mind gradually becomes serene, speech measured, and action skillful. In this way, the 96th verse provides a blueprint for the practical application of the Dharma, illustrating how inner calm and wisdom are expressed in thought, speech, and conduct, and how these qualities lead to liberation and peace in both oneself and the wider world. The deep calmness of the liberated practitioner arises from continuous mindfulness and reflection, allowing the mind to remain unshaken by transient experiences. This serenity is both the result and the expression of insight into the true nature of phenomena. When the mind is rightly trained, it becomes a mirror reflecting events, thoughts, and emotions clearly and without distortion. The practitioner observes the arising and passing of sensations, feelings, and mental formations without grasping or aversion. In daily life, this awareness translates into measured and thoughtful speech. Words are chosen with care, aimed at fostering understanding, harmony, and the welfare of all beings. Speech that could harm, agitate, or inflame is avoided, not out of fear or constraint, but as a natural expression of an awakened, calm mind. Similarly, all actions of the practitioner are informed by mindfulness and insight. Deeds arise spontaneously from clarity, compassion, and ethical understanding. The calmness of mind ensures that behavior is skillful and beneficial, free from impulsivity, selfish desire, or reactive tendencies. The 96th verse emphasizes that such calmness is holistic. It is not confined to meditation hall or secluded retreats, but manifests throughout all aspects of life. Each movement, each interaction, and each decision is touched by serenity. Even when faced with adversity, insult, or challenge, the practitioner responds with composure and discernment, demonstrating the power of an inner mind that is unshaken by external conditions. The stories related to this verse often describe disciples of the Buddha living in diverse circumstances, from the quiet forests to bustling villages. They encounter criticism, scarcity, and difficulty. Yet their behavior reflects the profound calm of one who is wholly freed and perfectly peaceful. Observers notice the stability, kindness, and wisdom in their presence, recognizing the fruits of disciplined practice, ethical conduct, and sustained meditation. Moreover, the verse teaches that the calmness of mind, speech, and action is inseparable from insight and freedom. The practitioner, who has rightly known the nature of suffering, impermanence, and non-self, releases clinging and aversion, cultivating equipoise in all situations. This freedom is not theoretical or abstract, but manifests concretely in the serenity of thought, the gentleness of speech, and the appropriateness of action. The integration of calmness across all levels of being demonstrates the profound effect of the Dharma in everyday life. Through observation, reflection, and continuous practice, the mind gradually stabilizes. Restless tendencies, habitual reactions, and subtle defilements are gradually diminished, leaving space for clarity, compassion, and wisdom to flourish. This calmness enables the practitioner to remain centered in the midst of chaos, patient in the face of difficulty, and joyful in the simplicity of each present moment. It also allows for genuine responsiveness to others, grounded in insight rather than reaction. The ability to maintain a steady mind, measured speech, and deliberate action inspires others and supports harmonious relationships. This verse, therefore, provides both instruction and inspiration, showing how inner liberation naturally radiates outward, shaping all aspects of a practitioner's life and benefiting the broader community. Each moment of conscious action, mindful speech, and reflective thought is an opportunity to strengthen this calmness, deepen insight, and embody the Dharma. In doing so, the practitioner becomes a living example of the Buddha's teaching, demonstrating that liberation is not an abstract goal, but a concrete reality expressed through clarity, serenity, and skillful engagement with the world. The cultivation of calmness also highlights the interconnection between inner practice and outer life. Ethical behavior, restraint of speech, and thoughtful action reinforce the stability of the mind, while insight and reflection purify motivations and enhance clarity. Through this continuous cycle, the practitioner embodies the serene and equipoised state described in the 96th verse, moving through life with balance, wisdom, and compassion, free from agitation, disturbance, and unskillful tendencies. The teaching encourages all who hear it to observe their own minds, to cultivate ethical and mindful conduct, and to develop clarity through meditation and reflection. By consistently practicing in this way, the mind, speech, and actions gradually embody the profound calm, peace, and equipoise that the verse describes, leading to liberation for oneself and benefit for all beings. The 96th verse of the Dhammapada guides us to cultivate deep calmness of mind, speech, and action. The liberated practitioner, wholly freed, perfectly peaceful, and equipoised, embodies the integration of mindfulness, ethical conduct, and insight into the nature of reality. This calmness is not limited to meditation or isolation, but pervades all aspects of life, transforming thought, word, and deed into expressions of serenity, wisdom, and compassion. Life's challenges are met with clarity, patience, and understanding, and interactions with others become opportunities to reflect the peace of the mind. By following this teaching, we learn to observe the mind, act skillfully, and communicate with mindfulness, cultivating freedom from agitation, craving, and aversion. The verse inspires us to integrate inner clarity and outer conduct, creating a harmonious and awakened life. May we cultivate calmness, equipoise, and insight in our own practice, reflecting the Dharma in every thought, word, and action. Thank you for watching my video. Namo Amitba. I wish to bring this merit towards all disciples and sentient beings, all of whom will attain Buddhahood. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate your time.